Hello there everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're all well. We're taking a different editing approach for this video. We're using a Twitch VOD for the background of it, so I don't have to set up my VTube studio and record all of it. It's still a work in progress, feedback would be appreciated. Now, without further ado, let's get into r/pro revenge. Like and subscribe, people. My boss stole my Super Bowl ticket, so I made him lose a major client. With the NFL playoffs back on, I thought you might all enjoy this football-related revenge story. I'm a huge 49ers fan, the rabbit all-day tailgate in the parking lot type. A few years ago, we made it back to the Super Bowl. I was working at a consulting firm with a handful of accounts I would interact with directly. One client in particular knew how big of a Niners fan I was. I was the day-to-day lead on his account. He really liked working with me and we became friends, often grabbing drinks or dinner after our meetings. He had access to a pair of extra company seats to the game, and as a thank you, wanted to give them to me as a gift. He passed the tickets over to the partner on that account, who I will refer to as Dickhead Partner, to be given to me as a surprise. The game came and went. We lost, it sucked. The next time we met, we went to get drinks afterwards and he mentioned, "Hey, by the way, didn't you go to the game? I heard someone else was in your seats." I asked, "What game?" He said, "The Super Bowl." Confused, I answered, "I didn't have seats to the Super Bowl." He told me he gave Dickhead Partner a pair of company tickets for me as a gift so I could attend. I had zero idea what he was talking about. He looked admittedly shocked, told me to quietly ask around about it and get back to him. When I was back in the office that next week, I found out through one of the secretaries that Dickhead Partner had given a pair of Super Bowl tickets to another one of his clients as a gift from the company. I might have let this sort of thing go to keep the peace under different circumstances, but those were seats on the 30-yard line to see the freaking 49ers play in the Super Bowl. I was angry. I considered confronting Dickhead Partner myself, but I realized it was the client who had noticed I wasn't there in the first place. So if I let him handle it, there would be no blowback on me. I texted him, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you so much for thinking of me with those seats. It appears that they were given to another one of our firm's clients." He texted back right away in all caps, "Are you shitting me?" And then, "Pretend I never told you, let me handle." He followed up with me about formulating a plan. A few days later, we were asked to come down to a meeting in their office. The client requested the partner be present, not entirely unusual, so Dickhead Partner and I hopped a flight to the next week and headed over to the office. Little did Dickhead Partner know, my client had orchestrated a wonderfully awkward little show to catch him red-handed. When we entered the conference room, it was all the usual suspects, along with a woman in her 30s we didn't recognize. My client immediately introduces Dickhead Partner. "This is Stephanie such and such, VP from other department. She wanted to sit in on this meeting." "Hey, OP, you guys must already know about the Super Bowl." She then responds as she goes to shake my hand. "Oh, I didn't think so. Did we meet there? I'm sorry if I forgot." Client responds, "Geez, Steph, how much did you have to drink? They were sitting right next to you." The client looks at me and says, "Sorry, client wasn't there. Are you thinking of someone else?" At this point, Dickhead Partner is looking visibly uncomfortable, probably trying to come up with an excuse. He starts in with a when Stephanie says over him, "No, so-and-so from the other company were in the other seats. By the way, I was wondering why we gave company seats to those guys. Is there a project we're working on with them that I don't know about?" Obviously not. They were in completely different industries. It'd be like Coca-Cola partnering with John Deere. Dickhead partner lets out a "Oh!" again, and the client immediately speaks over him asking, "Dickhead partners, I gave you those tickets for OP." At this point, Dickhead partner is turning bright red. Well, he wasn't able to make it, so he must have given the seats away to someone else." And he turns to me looking for me to cover for him. The client smirks at me. I respond, what are you talking about, client? You gave me those tickets to the Super Bowl?" Client suddenly raises his voice. "Dickhead partner, those tickets were a personal thank you gift from me to OP. Did you give them away to someone else? Was it another client?" Dickhead partner butts in with, maybe something got mixed up in the office." The client went quiet for what would probably seem like an eternity to Dickhead partner. He then looked down, grabbed his portfolio and iPad, put them into his briefcase and says, "I think this meeting is over. OP, it seems as if I owe you a thank you gift. Let's go to lunch. Stephanie, you're welcome to join." Dickhead partner, I need to evaluate our relationship. Please go home and expect to hear from us next week. Dickhead partner suggests he would like to join and presumably do damage control, and Stephanie sternly tells him, "I don't think that's a good idea," and asks the front desk to see Dickhead partner out. As soon as he is in the elevator, we all break out laughing hysterically. Stephanie wasn't really a VP, just an employee at the company whose client had drafted into helping with his pre-planned meeting skit. But she did end up coming to lunch with us, and as fellow Niners fans, and this was a total blast to hang out with. On our way to the restaurant, I got a desperate text from Dickhead partner saying I needed a cover for the firm, and that we could discuss things when I got back. I replied, "Yes, we need to talk, but I'll see what I can do." Client told me to wait a couple hours, then respond to him to expect invoices for the resale value of the Super Bowl tickets, and resale is way above face value, by the way. It was over $10K, as well as our lunch. He picked a pricey spot and made a big show of overspending, and that he expected them to be paid immediately. And number 2, expected that I be given a direct apology. And 3, expected a written apology to his company for what he considered theft. And 4, he will only interact with me or another one of the firm's partners. Never, Dickhead partner. This whole thing caused a stir with the other partners, and I actually came off looking great, because it appears that I had made a good faith effort to save the client for the firm, despite being the victim in this situation. The client would transfer to another partner, which meant Dickhead lost his profit share on any work with them. Oh, and the other partners in the firm made Dickhead partner pay for invoices back out of his salary. In retrospect, I really have no idea what the hell that guy was thinking. Did he seriously believe the client would just not notice me thanking him for Super Bowl tickets? Anyway, the well was kind of poisoned for me there long term because Dickhead partner wasn't going anywhere. I left the firm a few months later for a much better position. Client ultimately terminated their relationship with that firm a year later. He actually now works with a good friend of mine at a competing firm. I'm still angry I missed out on the Super Bowl, even though we lost. Hoping to make it back this year so I can finally go in person. Go Niners. Young firefighter disrespects a lieutenant, so I shame him and get him to quit. I'm not sure if this is pro or not, but I got revenge on a douchebag I used to volunteer firefighting with. This was in the early mid-2000s. I decided to go to the local fire department as a volunteer firefighter. I did it for about 5 years and it was great. Training consisted of 3 months of fire training, 2 nights a week and all day off Saturday. And then you would go to EMT training, another 3 months of training. And I was about a year in, and I was asked to help train some recruits. Under the lieutenant, Amy, who was a short, middle-aged woman who was so full of fire, she could make a grown man cry. One of those people who commands both fear and respect wherever she went. Honestly, a great lieutenant and great person. When she wasn't being drill sergeant, she was extremely kind and generous. She would often bake people cakes and treats and deliver them to various stations in our department. However, in this new academy class that I was asked to help with, there was a cocky kid that we will call Aaron. Aaron talked big during the training and acted like he was the all-American hero. Like he was going to be the lead badass in Backdraft 2. He performed moderately well in training, but far from the top of the class. He gets assigned to Amy's station, which is a pretty quiet station in the department. A few months after he starts, Amy swings by my station one night to say hi. She brings us the motherload cake from Claim Jumper, a massive 6-layer cake. She explained that she had treated her crew to a night out at a Claim Jumper, which must have cost a lot of money. I think she took out about 8 people and bought a whole cake to top it off. They had eaten the first 2 layers, so she gave us the remaining 4. We thanked her profusely, then left. Back then, the big social media platform was MySpace, and I decided to look up some of the people in the department to make friends. I came across Aaron's page, and I noticed some of the photos of him and the rest of the crew at Claim Jumper with Amy. However, when I read the comments, he bragged about how he had purposely ordered the most expensive dinner, appetizers and drinks, since Amy was buying. He bragged about how he was going to take advantage of her stupidity. This alone pissed me off because she was doing this super nice and generous deed out of the goodness of her heart. What an ungrateful, selfish dick. Then I read the rest of his profile. He had videos and memes on his page glorifying himself as a badass firefighter, bragging about running into burning buildings and how he is such a hero. He was flirting with girls, blatantly trying to impress them with how brave he is. Bear in mind, he just graduated from the academy 3 months prior and hadn't even gone to EMT school. He had never been to a house fire, and all he basically did was carry gear for the other fully qualified firefighters. It was too much for me to tolerate. So, here is the revenge. I printed off copies of his MySpace page, including his comments about Amy and his toxic bragging. I made multiple copies and took them to every station in the department. We all had pagers, God I'm old, and a small keyboard at each station to send out text messages. I made an anonymous, all-staff page to everyone in the department. I had to keep it brief since I couldn't fit a ton of characters, but I sent out all of his MySpace info and told everyone about how he treated Amy. Within an hour, Aaron had cleared out his MySpace page of all posts, and photos, and etc. A couple days later, he deleted his account. It's a good thing I made so many copies. Immediately after all this happened, he stopped coming to volunteer, and a few weeks later, I heard that he had quit. I later talked to Amy and admitted I was the one who sent the page. I told her I hated how he treated her, and she thanked me. She seemed really sad and hurt by what he had done. But being the tough short lady she was, she quickly got back into being an actual badass fighter. She later started dating and married a fire chief that also helped at the academy. I've lost touch with her, but I hope she did well. She seemed pretty happy the last time I saw her. Edit. I can't stop laughing about how this story ignited a firestorm about Claim Jumper's motherload cake. Oh god, I gotta check the comments now. Hang on. Okay, here's the comment. One of the comments talking about the Claim Jumper cakes. Good revenge, but I'm here about how to talk about how great the cakes from Claim Jumpers are. I'm from Australia and I go to San Diego, and that's the only place I've ever seen acclaim jumpers. And the only thing I can remember about that place is how huge their cakes are. And someone below them said, "Don't get me started on their mozzarella sticks and personal apple pies. Ooh, I might have to look for one of those places someday. Oh my god." And that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, like and subscribe. Leave a comment with your thoughts and feedback on the editing. And if you enjoyed a lot, maybe check out my platforms in the description below. Now, I hope you have a wonderful day, everyone.